Hi, I'm Mark from eReplacementParts.com. In this video, I'll show you how to replace the motor and drum assembly on your Toro Model 51443 string trimmer. To remove the spool cap, I just simply push the tabs in on the sides of the spool. Now the spool simply lifts away from the spring. To remove the compression spring, I'll just give it a twist and pull it away from the spool. Now remove the eyelet. I'll just use a small screwdriver to pry it away from the spool. Now I can remove the string guard. It's held in place with a couple of fasteners. Now I can remove the motor housing. It's held together with a series of fasteners. The decal on top of the motor will tend to hold both sides of the motor housing together, so I'll use a knife to just slice through the decal. And now I can separate the two sides of the motor housing. Now I'll remove the motor and drum assembly. To start, I'll remove the wire nuts that secure the wires between the motor and the wiring harness. Your trimmer may have solder on the wires like this one. In that case, just cut the wire away. And now I'll just lift the motor and drum assembly away from the housing. Now replace the motor and drum assembly into the motor housing. And I'll use some wire strippers to prep the wires for reconnection. Now I'll use a pair of pliers to twist the wires back together. At this point, you can solder the wires back together if you'd like to. And now just reinstall the wire nuts. Now I can go ahead and install the other half of the motor housing. But before I do, I want to take a minute and make sure I have all the wires tucked into the housing so they don't get pinched when I put the two halves of the housing together. And now I'll secure the two halves of the motor housing with the fasteners. Now I'll replace the line shield and secure it with the fasteners. Now reinstall the eyelet back onto the spool. Now reinstall the compression spring. Now reinstall the spool over the spring, lining up the line with the eyelet. Now I simply line up the tabs on the spool cap with the openings on the spool and snap the cap into place. And now you know how you can replace the motor and drum assembly on your Toro Model 51443 string trimmer. We hope you found this video helpful. Please feel free to leave a comment or ask us a question.